Hi, it's Stephen here at Bland Designs, and today is a show and tell video, and I'm going to tell you all about and show you my latest creation. And this is a mini album that I created. This took quite a while to create, as you can imagine, but I'm really happy with the result. First thing I want to say about this album, though, is I used a hinge system that was developed by a lady named Kathy Orta King. It's called the Hidden Hinge Binding System. She actually has a patent pending on this design, but she says that you can use it for your own personal use and you can share it with others just as long as you give her credit. And so I am giving her credit. So to learn about this system, I'm not going to show you how to make it in this video, but go to the search engine of YouTube and put in Hidden Hinge Binding, and her name again is Kathy Orta King, and you'll learn how to do it. It's very easy and it's very effective. The reason it's very effective is because it allows your pages to lay flat. Now, in a previous video I created some time ago, I showed you the Heartfelt Creations journal kits, and they're a really good product and I really like them. But the one problem with those is that the pages do not lay flat. They didn't leave enough room for really thick embellishments. Whereas this system allows for that. And I'll just tip it up here on the side so you can see inside. And I've got quite a lot of things happening in here. And you can make it any size that you want, but your pages will lay flat. So I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. But first, let's talk about the cover. This particular album, I use the theme of By the Sea because I fell in love with the Graphic 45 paper pad that has the same name, By the Sea. And I created and did some fussy cutting for the flowers and the seashells and this little figure here for the cover. You will also note that I have some, and it's maybe not so easy to see in this, but I distressed some binding tape, book binding tape, to reinforce my back and front cover along the spine. The spine, the front and the back cover are all made with chipboard. The pages inside are all on standard black cardstock, and it's very, very strong. So that's my cover. Let's go inside. Now, right off the bat, you can see how the pages lay flat. Of course, this is just the first pages. The real proof of this is when you get to the middle of the album, as you'll see. I started out by just cutting. I didn't really have a plan for this. I just let the paper dictate what I was going to do. Also, I didn't stick to just the Graphic 45. I used a couple of other collections, both in 12 by 12 and 6 by 6, that had sea themes or ocean themes as well. One of those, I believe, is by Kaiser Craft, and it was called, I'm trying to think what it was called now. I think it was Coastal Escapes. And the other pad that I used was, who made that one? Sorry, I should write these things down, but I've spent months working on this thing and I kind of forgot what sets I used. I think it was a K & Company, but I'm not absolutely sure. But I make this up as I go along, each of the page sets, as you're going to see. So in this particular one, I actually cut out or used one of the pocket kits that come with the Heartfelt album, and I used a lot of these throughout this album. Then I start to create my own, and on here you can't see the pocket because I've covered it up by fussy cutting out some of the seashells and other little pieces that are here. I used almost all the scraps of paper I had for the borders and other embellishments, and as I said, and maybe that's one reason why it took me so long to make this, is because I really didn't have a plan, and I was trying to make almost every page different. This is why, one reason, people have asked me if I would do a class with this book, and I've said no. We would be in for a month's worth of work, and plus I don't really remember how I created each one of these pages. It's been a while. I worked on it off and on in time. So here you have a mat, plain on the back, something on the front, lots of real estate in this whole album for pictures. Another similar one with a pocket, card. Now here I did something a little different. I created this pocket. I believe this particular pocket is one of the Heartfelt inserts, and I used the border on the back. I did use magnets on some pages. This is not one of them. So we've got a journaling card that slips in here, and then I made this little tuck-in little booklet. And I just used some journaling cards that came from one of the other sets, and it all folds out. Just a little thing. Like I said, I made it up as I went along. On this page, I've got a little pocket. I found these cute little buttons as accessories from one of the paper collections, and just put it on there as my little, sort of like a knob kind of a thing, but we're pulling this card out, and it just fits right in there. And then here, I used one of the tags in another collection, and just used it as a little holder for this tag that I created here. Again, lots of room on these for journaling or for pictures, whatever you want to use. The ironic part about albums when I make them, I never get around to putting pictures in them. I don't want to cover up the paper. It's too nice. Should do that though. Okay, so here you see, you notice the gutters are wider, and that is why it lays flat. I also decorated the gutters too with strips of paper. Like I said, I used pretty much all the paper I had wherever I could. On this particular page, this is another one of the inserts from Heartfelt, and this one does have a magnet that holds that there, so this all folds out this way, and let me get it in shot here. It folds out this way. So lots of real estate again. A couple little cards tucked in or whatever, pictures, journaling. And again, I made some of my pockets by just doing fussy cutting out of some of the elements in the papers that were a little larger. Not everything always has to look exactly like a pocket. And I put this on here just to keep that closed. This is another Heartfelt insert. And this one's kind of neat because it opens up in multiple ways, as you can see. And you've got room on the flip side for things in here, little tags stuck in a pocket on this side. This one's really got a lot of space for things. Little tag there. So that's one of the Heartfelt inserts, and I just used a piece of ribbon as my enclosure for this. And here's another little insert card. Again, the pocket I just fussy cut out of one of the larger ones, actually out of the same card, as you can see. Oops, those fell out. Okay, here again, another pocket, corner pocket, cut out of the paper, a couple little inserts. And if I've had any of the paper that had quotations on it or whatever, I just cut those out and use them as space fillers just to break up blank space. Here's a tag within a pocket within a pocket kind of a thing. And I used this, I took a template off of something else to create this pocket. And I cut the pocket, actually, once I had it designed, I put it in my Brother Scan and Cut and had the machine cut that out for me, and all I had to do was fold it. Here's another variation. Now the idea of the tag, but what I did was I made a triple fold tag, and in here the elements, this will come out, and places for pictures, and all folds up, and again a ribbon to hold it closed. I didn't tie that bow very well. And this ribbon's a very sparkly kind of ribbon as well, so it adds a little bling. And you probably can't, it probably is not picking up on the video, but on some of these I added a little bit of Wink of Stella clear just to give it a little bit of sparkle. These pages, a couple of more cards. These are double-sided. Again, one side actually has journaling space on both of these, and the other side could be, you could put a picture on them, whatever. But you see, I like the design of this, and putting a picture over it to cover it up kind of bothers me. But whatever. And here we have my theme. I cut that out of the paper, cut this element out of the paper and put it in behind. And this is another one of those Heartfelt inserts. And there is a magnet in this one. And this one opens up quite wide, as you can see. Get it all into the shot. So lots of space on here. The magnet's right underneath to hold that, and these tags fit right underneath there. And this is the same idea. Tag in there, opens up. A couple little tags in here in the pocket, and I did put a magnet in it as well. And of course it opens up this way too, so you've got, again, lots of real estate. Now we're about halfway through this book. There's about 10 pages in here, so 20 double-sided pages. So this will hold quite a bit. Here, another tag. And this is also a heartfelt insert. I just made it into a pocket. And similar with this one. Similarly, I should say. Not similar. A couple of little tags in there. A larger photo mat there. And then here I started to experiment with little booklets right in the mini album itself. So I just used some of these cut aparts on the paper pads, and I made my own little hinge. Just folded a piece of the paper over in half and glued it underneath, and so it opens up into this little booklet. Same thing on this side. For more journaling here. Journaling or pictures, whatever. On this page, I just created a belly band. Card slip in. I started to get away from using more of the heartfelt inserts because my book was getting very thick and it was getting a little top heavy. So I had to start making some of the pages a little thinner, or my book was going to become warped. And you will notice that I do not have a clasp or a piece of ribbon wrapped around it to keep it closed, because it actually keeps itself closed well enough. And to be honest, I kind of forgot about doing that when I first laid down the pages for the cover and the back. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, and this is another belly band with a card that slips in and out of it. Now, at this point, I was getting sort of tired of working on this, okay? And this was a process. I didn't do this in a couple of days. I did this over a period of several months because I didn't work on it every day. I'd get in the mood for it, and then I'd pull it out and work on it for a while, and then I got a little bored and I'd put it away and work on something else. So by the time I got to the end here, I was really tempted just to throw down some flat photo mats and call it a day. But I thought, no, let's not do that. Let's not skimp. Let's carry on. So I did, and I was trying to come up with something different for each page. So what I did was I took this. This was all one piece, but I fussy cut out around part of it, matted it so it became a pocket, and then just glued this piece down over top so the two overlap. But you see, when they're like this, it shows the whole picture. But when I throw in a couple of these little cards, it's a pocket. And then I found some seaside-like embellishments here that were 3D, and I added those, along with these little quotation border strips. Also, one thing I didn't mention was I did go around all the edges of all the pieces that are used in here with, I think I used walnut stain ink and faded jeans, depending on the color of the background, just to make it pop a little bit more. I did cover every page first with a solid cardstock, and the pages themselves are from cardstock but in black, and I left about 1/8 of an inch of a border all the way around, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Also, when you start adding cardstock again on top of your cardstock, your pages are very substantial. So these are not chipboard pages. You could make them with chipboard pages, but I didn't. I used just standard cardstock, but because of the number of layers, they are substantial. This little page I thought was kind of cute that I came up with. It's just a couple of panels cut from the paper, and then you open it up and you have this little booklet. Lots of room for a picture. You could have some journaling, whatever in that. This ribbon I found is a light blue color with a little glitter to it, as you can see. I kind of liked it. The only thing about it that I don't like is it has a tendency to, which it just did, fray. So you got to be kind of careful with it when you're tying it up. But I liked it, so I used it. So the last couple of pages, again, in here I made a little booklet. I did a fussy cut and I let it run off the edges to give it a little bit of dimension. So it's just a couple of photo mats. And in here, another one of those heartfelt inserts, a pocket, and just some of the leftover pieces I threw in here and made this. And this is the back of the album. So that's my whole album. Whether it'll ever see a picture or not, I don't know. Probably not. But I'm really happy with it, and I'm going to use another one of Graphic 45's paper stashes. I think that one's called Cityscapes. Looks really neat. And I'm going to do another album similar to this, but with that theme, and maybe try different types of inserts and things like that with it. But I'm going to definitely use the Hidden Hinge System, again, by Kathy Orta King. Said it again. It's excellent. She deserves credit for it, for that album as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little show and tell, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.